Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have an interesting clip. Let's have a look.
Just kind of winging it here, so bear with me. I'm going to look at some of the stuff here in the news and see what we can come up with. All right. So let's take a look at this right here. It says, let's see what this is here.
Canada is the document management solution for creating, signing, and tracking.
And before we start with that town hall, I actually wanted to mention that one of your friends here is Silk. Silk, are you here? Where are you at?
I'll tell you, she is my friend too. And he is my friend.
What in the hell is going on? Black people ain't supposed to be up there hugging and kissing on Trump? According to Democrat news, I mean, what?
My friend.
Oh, wow. Hey, North Carolina. Real quick now. I want y'all to listen up. I'm a little ticked off. I just want you to know I'm a little ticked off, and I'm going to tell you why. $750.
$750, yeah. We give billions to Ukraine, but just $750 for hurricane victims.
Where American tax dollars is being used to fund illegal aliens into our country. And these illegal aliens didn't pay one dime or one red cent into our systems. And all Kamala Harris and Tampon Timmy want to give us $750? Listen, you all, we only have one choice. One choice, and that's President Donald J. Trump.
She pretty much said a mouthful there on that one. I mean, if you vote for Kamala, you're going to get what you've been getting for the past 4 years, so it's pretty clear.
We cannot afford.
Let me stop right there. We can't afford gas, groceries, the list goes on and on and on, but that's just some of what we can't afford. We can't afford housing, the rent, the electric bill.
The 4 years of this, so you're going to have to vote like your life depends on it. Like when you're taking your breath and it's your last breath and you need that vote in order to breathe, that's what you're going to have to do. So you're going to have to, I'm almost finished, Mr. President. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to overvote the cheat. You're going to have to outrun the...
Okay, now, see, where does she come off saying we have to overvote to cheat? Now that I have a problem with, because no one should be overvoting and cheating. But I wonder where that strategy might have been used in the past, and now we're thinking we have to use it on this side. I'm not sure. That's kind of confusing.
Way, and we're going to have to make it too big to rig.
Now, how can you make it too big to rig? Like, let's say these small towns and counties where they've hid these illegal immigrants, because like that's like up north Alabama here, that are about middle of the state. They've put, a handful of these immigrants into the county. Well, let's just say that county was, 50-50 with Trump and Kamala. Well, let's just say they threw in an extra 1,000 immigrants. Well, if those 1,000 immigrants can illegally vote or go up there and not show a voter ID and vote for Kamala, well, that just automatically gave her a landslide in that county for the state. So it's a pretty smooth strategy that the Democrats are using. I mean, it could work for them. It's definitely rigged.
Now I can feel Diamond rising up in me. Because you have to vote right so you won't get left again. Vote red. R-E-D. Remove every Democrat.
Yeah, this woman's definitely got some fire in her. She's bringing it.
They gotta go. Now, while the media continue to play the race card, we gonna continue to play the Trump card so we can win, and win.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. So, you know, it was 9 years ago, and my beautiful wife, our First Lady, we love our First Lady. Did you see her interview on Sean Hannity and with Ainsley in the morning? She did great, but 9 years ago she came to me, she said, you know, there are two women, and they are really incredible. I said, who the hell are they? They said, you got to see this, you're not going to believe it. They had a thing, and we fell in love like almost immediately.
Yes.
And her sister was just unbelievable too. Yes. And she passed away like a couple of years ago now. It's a long time ago. It seems it goes fast, right? But what a great combination. We love you both. They were loyal to me from day one. When they heard stuff, they said, that's a lot of...
And you know, and it seems like Trump has known these people for years. And, you know, you hear all this stuff about him being a racist and all this stuff, but here, this woman is coming out. Obviously, he knows her sister. Her sister's passed away now. And, you know, it's not like they just pulled this person out of the woodwork and now they're up here like, you know, you see some of the stuff for Kamala where it's like staged. I mean, this seems, granted, I'm sure they invited him up there, you know, but this is not like some threw together at the last minute. Like, he really knew these people. So I think this is genuine.
They were with me from day one. And that Trump sign gets bigger and bigger. I said, that's so nice, I want to buy one for myself. But I just...
Mr. President, I'm going to give you one.
I mean, I don't worry, but you know what? You know what? We appreciate your loyalty, your friendship. And I saw Silk backstage. I said, I'm bringing you upstage. I'm going to bring you upstage. And we miss your great sister. And we love you. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much more.
Well, that's about Forbes News there. I think for the most part that's on point.
Thank you. Great.
I don't care to see an ad, obviously. Let's go something different here. Let's see what else we have in the news. Let's go back. What else is new here? Trump's message. All right, let's see what the controversy is here by Fox News.
Listen to this controversy here. Former CBS staffers are reportedly calling for an independent investigation after the network aired two different answers to the same question during a 60 Minutes interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, the first version aired during a promotional clip on Sunday night, while the second...
Yeah, so this is good. 60 Minutes, which is supposed to be a genuine, you know, news source here as far as, you know, they talk, people are supposed to get the truth out of it. Well, they're going to record her word salad where she babbles on and on and on in an endless loop there for about a minute or two. And then they're going to cut that out where she doesn't look like an idiot, and they're going to put something that sounds better in there to make it look like she was competent giving us the truth. So let's hear that.
Answer aired during 60 Minutes on Monday. Listen to both back to back.
It seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Wow. Joe.
All right, so if that's not a scam or fraud or a lie or whatever the hell you want to call it, I mean, that's a prime example of lying to the people. You show the truth, like her babbling on and the word salad there, and then you show something where you've edited it in an answer that sounds more convincing. I mean, that's what she has to do to win the vote.
As a Fox News contributor joins us now, Joe, I want to be crystal clear about something. This is not a thing that we do in the media. Yes, you may not always air the full answer to a question, but you never, ever put the answer to question B with question A. So why would the esteemed journalists at the paragon of virtue, 60 Minutes, think they can get away with such a thing?
I keep reading so-called media reporters defending this, like, who've never worked, by the way, ever in an actual newsroom. Say, oh, this is very common to do this. No. Why?
Okay, now listen to that. He just said it's very common to do this. Well, if it's very common to do this, how many times have they done this before? And, you know, this is a common thing. You know, this is a common thing that they do. So giving us a twisted interview that's been manipulated to sway the people, that's just common.
CBS News, would you promote 60 Minutes with a clip of Kamala Harris saying one thing and then during the interview not play that clip and air something completely different? Oh, that's right. The clip you promoted made her look horrible, as what usually happens when she's outside of a teleprompter. And then the clip that you actually played was something that made her sound a bit more competent, I guess. Either way, it's very simple, Todd, if you're CBS News. Release the entire interview on CBSNews.com. Let everyone see it from start to finish without any edits, any jump cuts, and while you're at it, release the transcript as well. But CBS, they only released the transcript of the edited portion of the video. Why is that, CBS? We don't know, because Fox News has reached out to CBS News to say, why aren't you releasing the whole interview? And they won't even respond. This is the same news division that screams about the importance of transparency, and they're being anything but transparent here. I mean, this...
All right, so obviously we know they've lied to us. You know, pretty much that's it on that story. I mean, we could spend and waste our life watching the rest of that video, but it's the same old garbage. She's just lying again. They're lying. Fits their narrative. All right, let's see this here. She doesn't know what to say. This will be a good one. Let's get the commercial.
The significance, again. I know you love Veep.
I do. I love Veep. Is it accurate?
I'd like to begin today
that's priceless.
There are bits of it that are actually quite accurate. So 32 days. 32 days. I understand the significance. The significance of the passage of time. I think there's a great deal of significance. The significance of the passage of time. The significance, there is great significance to the passage of time. The significance, again, world in particular, in the context of our transatlantic relationships, and to not only state our position,
I don't understand a word,
but to encourage others to stand with us, as we have been doing.
You just said.
I have the great privilege of serving with Joe Biden, who was president of the United States. Biden, thank you for putting country first
great
and for
privilege.
handing over the reins. I didn't want it.
Oh, more garbage. see what else we have here. We got Milton aftermath. Let's see. Hurricane Milton leaves death and destruction on ABC. This clown here, I think he was one that interviewed Trump, that rigged interview, so I don't care to listen to his news. He's a real jackass, in my opinion, for doing Trump like that. Oh, let's see what Sheriff Grady has to say. He's always got something good to tell us.
For those of you in Congress and the executive branch, this is a secure border. This is an unsecure border. Everybody knows the difference, except for the executives and the Congress, who are absolutely, totally tone deaf. Now, for those of you who are slow learners,
Sheriff Grady's got a good point.
This is a secure border. This is another picture of an insecure, unsecure border, both. Folks, they're coming here not just to find a better way of life like many of our forefathers did, but they're coming here to kill our people while they make enormous profits.
Now this sheriff,
Congress,
he's on the front line dealing with this stuff every day, so he's not lying. I mean, why would he stand up here and lie for some kind of political agenda? He's not. He's telling you the truth. He's knee deep in this stuff every day, dealing with these criminals and these illegal immigrants that are here, you know, breaking in cars, murdering, stealing. I mean, he sees it all. You know, I mean, so he has nothing to gain from getting up there and lying to you. I mean, he's telling you the truth. Let's see what we got. Willie Nelson endorses Kamala. Well, I don't care to hear him sing if he's endorsing Kamala. Oh, there goes some Matt Walsh. He's commenting on Kamala. He had a real good movie, by the way, that Am I Racist? It's actually a really good movie he came up with. Went and seen that in the theater. It may still be in. I highly recommend checking that out. It'll make you think about what's really going on and the way they're pandering to people to get them to buy off into their racist, whether they want to be racist or not. And you got to do the work to try to fix yourself, and then it comes to find out it's just people pandering for money. They're just selling this idea to people to get rich. They're charging like anywhere from a couple $1,000 to $50,000 to do interviews and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Netanyahu giving a message to Iran. A lot of this stuff is older. All right, let's see what happened here with Fox on this.
Let me tell you what $5 means to my campaign. $5 allows us to contact thousands of voters in critical swings.
Okay, President Biden is once again pushing back against criticism of the government's response to Hurricane Helene. Biden is calling it misinformation. Biden's also ripping President Trump.
All right, so basically anything that we have that doesn't go along with the Democrats' agenda is misinformation. You could have seen an immigrant hack somebody to death with a machete and run them over 10 times with a car, and even filmed it live. And it's misinformation, it's a lie, it's not true, because this is going to hurt Kamala's campaign, so it's just misinformation. But now anything they do is just great, good information. But now let's see what Biden has to say on it.
It's almost his sole focus. It's bizarre. Meanwhile, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas insists FEMA will need more money after Hurricane Milton.
Mark, Meredith is live at the White House. Mark, so what are they upset about at the White House right now, Mark?
Lauren, Steve Ansley, and Brian, good morning, friends. What they're upset about is what they claim has been a spinning of the truth about the disaster recovery effort that's been underway ever since Hurricane Helene hit 6 states just a few weeks ago. Today, we are going to get another update from President Biden on the government's disaster recovery, as we talked about these two major storms which have caused widespread destruction across the South. We know that the government is in the process of opening more FEMA disaster recovery centers, which will help community.
Okay, so this here is a picture in Tampa. Just look at that. Look at how many businesses are underwater here, or they're flooded out. Roads impassable. You can't get in or out of that area there. But all this is misinformation, according to the Democrats. It's misinformation. I mean, you're seeing it with your own eyes, but it's misinformation. Don't believe what you're seeing. It can't be true.
Was impacted by Hurricane Milton. The president said survivors of Helene, which tore through those 6 states, are also getting the help they need. Former President Trump has repeatedly accused Biden and Vice President Harris of poor disaster recovery management, and on Thursday, Biden fired back, claiming Trump is spinning the truth.
Are you kidding me? Mr. President Trump, former President Trump, get a life, man. Help these people.
All right, see, now that's the only thing with these news channels. I would like to have heard the question, because I did not hear the question. He gave an answer. He said, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, hell, they could have asked him if he wanted what flavor ice cream he wanted for lunch. I don't know what they asked him. How about you show us the question before you put it on national news? Thanks, Fox. That really helped me out on being informed.
We don't know when President Biden may have traveled to Florida to meet with first responders. We are hearing from the Homeland Security Secretary, who says right now the government has the money it needs to provide immediate assistance.
We have the resources to respond to the immediate needs of individuals impacted by Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton and the associated. That being said, we will need additional funds, and we implore Congress when it...
Okay, now how can you release a statement like that? Now, 1 second, you have everything you need, and then you're telling us you need something. So which is it? Do you have everything you need, or do you need something?
To in fact fund FEMA as is needed.
The money issue keeps coming up. Here's a look at what FEMA has been spending your tax dollars on, with $31 billion appropriated for the fiscal year.
Now let this sink in here for a second. We got $31 billion on the total budget. We got $344 million that was spent on the Helene disaster assistance. Then we got COVID-19 ate up $20 billion, and then $1.4 billion went to the illegal immigrants. Now that was to put them in hotels, give them food cards, medical care, schooling, the whole 9 yards. But the most they can do is give you $750 for FEMA assistance. And then if you apply to it, you see where people's getting denied. So that makes a lot of sense.
$344 million so far going to Hurricane Helene. That number expected to rise. You see the money that was spent on the pandemic, and also money that was spent on addressing the U.S. southern border crisis. The White House says more money is urgently needed for the SBA. That's the Small Business Administration. They also provide disaster recovery loans. But as of right now, guys, there's no indication that Congress plans to return to Washington before the November election. Steve Ansley, Brian,
I just don't understand. The fiscal year is 8 days old. They're already out of money? Didn't they plan literally for a rainy day?
Yeah, the government's saying now that they're not out of money, because this has been a mixed messaging, Brian, that's come up all week, because we originally heard back.
Gotta love Brian here on this one, because he's asking the common sense question, like what happened? Where is the money gone? Like how are we out of money? Like they approve all the stuff and they throw your money away.
Have enough money to survive the next hurricane. Now, obviously, that we've had Milton come through, the government changing its story just a little bit, saying we've got money for right now. And the president was asked about this just yesterday, saying, "Well, wait, what's happening? Are we out of money? Or are we okay with money?" And
as the old saying goes, "Fake it till you make it," and that's what Kamala's doing. She's faking that everything's okay. I mean, we're subject to wake up tomorrow and all hell be breaking loose because the economy just crashes because of this. They've been lying to us for a while. We don't have the money to deal with any of this stuff.
Was he was talking about the SBA, not necessarily FEMA,
which is out of money. Well, so it's a little confusing. In the meantime, they're talking a lot about disinformation. I know Peter Doocy asked a fair question the other day, and he was branded as being, the question was disinformation. What is the question? Well, the way he said it, Mark. What is it in particular that people are saying that is so angry in the White House? Because the New York Times has got something up right now about all these wild theories about the hurricanes. The storms were engineered to clear the way for lithium mining. They were sent to help Democrats in next month's election. They were formed by weather controlling lasers. Any of that part of it?
All right, so that's some interesting questions there that people are raising up. So let's talk about that, because people think that that's crazy and far-fetched. All right, they do have laser weaponry out there, and I suggest you do your own research on this stuff. But if you're firing a laser from like a satellite and it's heating up the water, which is causing they could create a storm. I mean, it is possible. Am I saying that they created this one? No, I'm not. But I'm saying, is it possible to do what they're saying? Absolutely. Could they melt a car from space? Sure, they can. This laser weaponry is strong. It's accurate. They have it. They can use it if they need to. So, I mean, that's highly possible. I mean, it's not some far-fetched space age idea that's out there. I mean, it's true. It's no different than AI. AI is advancing at a rapid rate. I mean, you're going to see robots doing jobs in the future. I mean, that's why they just had this strike here. They don't want automation taking their jobs. It's a real threat. They know it's a real threat. That's why they want job security. I mean, all this stuff is moving at an advanced pace. And like people that are living under a rock here or in their own little world, just driving to work and home every day, well, the world is advancing while you're still in your own little world. You gotta kind of open up here and look at what's really going on out there, because it is advancing. All this technology is taking over. So when someone like this is up here asking these questions, it's not some far-fetched thing. But now see on his face, he's in disbelief. He's thinking, surely this isn't going to happen. Surely they wouldn't do that. But oh yeah, someone could do that. And as far as that lithium mine goes that's up there, that BlackRock has interest in, well, multi-billion-dollar company, why wouldn't they flood somebody out? They can't get them to move because they don't want to sell their land. So, I mean, it makes sense to ask that question. How else could they get them to give up their land and move? You flood them out where they don't have nothing left. They don't have a choice. The economy disrupts. Goods aren't flowing anymore. You can't afford to live up there. I mean, people are going to move out. It'll become a ghost town. Then they'll buy the land dirt cheap and go right into mining. So I mean, could they do that? Absolutely. And even let's say they didn't send the hurricane, like they didn't create the hurricane or send it. They're not helping the situation. They're going to take advantage of the situation. This is like a blessing for them that these people are in turmoil, so they can take over and take the land over.
Imagine that as part of the discussion. Obviously, social media is a whole new element when it comes to the disasters that we as Americans experience today. You're right, whether or not it's rumors that pop up on X or on Reddit or anything else, and then they kind of take off from there. The former president was asked about this. I think it was in Laura Ingram's town hall back in Butler the other day, and he made it very clear. He just feels like the government's not doing enough to help the people that are going through so much right now. And there's always been politics when it comes to disaster recovery. Remember what happened with Sandy? I mean, you guys were probably all in that camp.
And we just had one of our members from our team go up there and help with some of the search and rescue and stuff. And he said everyone is mad at FEMA. Like they're not doing enough. Like it's obvious, every town he went to, everyone's complaining about the government response. So, for them to get up there and act like they're doing everything they can, they're not. The government's not doing everything that they can.
dealing with the disaster response from Hurricane Sandy back in 2012.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we all remember what happened after
Brian's
Katrina
house
in
was
2005.
destroyed.
Yeah, so you would imagine that there's always been a politics element of disaster recovery, but because this is playing out so close to the election, it's getting more attention.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. I'd say this. I think a lot of it is they want to show that Donald Trump's irresponsible as a leader and throws out misinformation. You don't want that guy as president because he throws out things that aren't true. That's why they're double and triple down on it. That's why they had that performative conference call where everyone talked about how great the other person was handling this catastrophe, in my view. And they all had the windbreakers on and complimented each other. And misinformation, as long as there's social media, which is for the rest of our lives, there's always going to be things out there that make no sense. And when Ron DeSantis said it, you just listen to us. Don't worry about the other stuff.
Brian, they are following the bouncing ball as they always do. Sure, there is some misinformation about, what's happening on the ground. But what's not misinformation is the way that they handled the storm. The fact that the troops didn't get there in time enough. The fact that there's still dead bodies there that they haven't been able to recover. The fact that they didn't plan efficiently there on the ground. The residents are upset about this. I find this much like in the community in Ohio. Everybody started talking about the cats and dogs.
Yeah, look at this right here. All this underwater. And they want to tell us it's misinformation.
But they failed to realize the real issue in the community, which is the schools were overrun, services were taken from the community.
I agree with you, Lawrence, because you can't, the pictures don't lie.
They don't.
The sound bites don't lie. We saw Donald Trump with Franklin Graham and Samaritan's Purse in Georgia right after it happened. We saw him in North.
And see, here's another thing to think about. Like when this water will recede and go down, but you got to think about all these businesses, okay? There's going to be mold, mildew. It's going to take billions, trillions. Who knows what kind of amount of money it's going to take to fix all this stuff. We are not even going to be able to afford insurance after this. The insurance companies are gonna flop. They're going to need a bailout from the federal government just because of these storms. No one's even talking about that. The insurance companies, you're going to see them go bankrupt and belly flop, and you're going to be left with nothing. That's just where we're at.
Why not? We saw that they were sending troops in North Carolina. Blame it on the governor. Blame it on FEMA. Whatever you want. We know that the troops were not called in for a week after all of that happened in North Carolina. We have reporters there on the ground. They were interviewing residents, and they were all saying the same thing. Where is the help? We need help. If it weren't for our community and volunteers, we would be under...
Yeah, and there was a report of where, I believe it was Tennessee mobilized 800 of their guardsmen they sent overseas, and that was approved right after the hurricane hit, which is crazy. We have a disaster right here on our own soil that we need to address, but yet priority is going overseas. It doesn't make any sense what the government's doing.
Many of our neighbors have died. We need help. And then you see Mayorkas on TV saying, I don't know, I think we're out of money. I think FEMA has enough money for one more hurricane. Well, then you hear misinformation. And Peter Ducey asked an excellent question. Why do we have to why is Kamala giving so much money to Lebanon or supporting Lebanon, and we're all giving millions of dollars to Lebanon? Yeah, we have to ask Congress to come back to get FEMA money? Yeah. That was his question.
It was just a bad look. Of course, the money to Lebanon was appropriated by Congress. Now Congress has got to come back. It's all a mess. I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley.
Well, that's interesting. All right, so what else is new? Another possible hurricane developing. Let's take a look at that and see what we're talking about.
Thank you for joining me on this Friday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. We'll get into the two areas we're watching for the potential of some development. The first one, once again, is in the Western Caribbean. There's been a lot of moisture, of course, this hurricane season. As we know, back through parts of Central America, the Western Caribbean, we're going to see another buildup of moisture. So that'll be one spot. Spot number one, I'm going to monitor for some.
All right, so this channel here's Mr. Weatherman. He's telling us about this new storm that's developing.
Most of the models models, environmental conditions, are saying, hey, this is not going to develop. The European model, which did very well with Milton, does have this area eventually develop and just continue to trek off toward the west. This time of year, usually we're not looking off the coast of Africa, but the water temperatures are still so very warm. Usually we look closer to home for development toward the tail end of the hurricane season. But this October, we're watching off the coast of Africa and close to home. So those are the two areas to monitor next, and we'll do that together as we continue to take things storm by storm. Now let's show you this first spot, right? Here we are in Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Mexico, as you get over toward the Yucatan, Belize, and Honduras. Here's Nicaragua. Almost all of the models show a lot of rain building in this area, but only the American model at this point has this area developing. With that said, the American model, and I'll show you that, has this area developing into a hurricane and then rolling near Honduras, Belize, and Nicaragua. But right now, the European, Canadian, and Icon models
all right, so we need to keep an eye on that.
Which is so very early as far as
could develop into a hurricane.
Or an area to watch. That doesn't mean
doesn't look like it's an initial threat, so we don't need to waste too much time on that right now. Let's see what else we got we need to take a look at, be aware of. See.
Well, it is an honor to be here, and I was with Jesse last year, and we had a lot of fun, and it was a little different. We had a real panel where you asked questions and everything, and we didn't do so much speaking, so I'm going to get off here very quickly because I want to hear some questions. Jesse started off by saying most of the wealth in this country is in the hands of a few, and I thought to myself, is that a bad thing? What's wrong with that, Jesse? But he did have an expression last year, and I was just telling Roger, he had an expression last year, the wall on wall must fall. And you haven't used it today, and I'm very disappointed in this, Jesse, because I thought it was a great expression. And I heard the expression about 14 times, and then he came to me at the end of the session, and he said, listen, I want some office space in your building on Wall Street, because the wall on wall will fall.
Okay, so this is Jesse asking Trump for a spot in one of his buildings. So with Trump being the racist that he is, that you know that's not going to happen. I mean, there's no way that can happen. Let's just see what happens.
And I said, it's okay, Jesse. I'll make a good deal with you. I'll get you some space. You'll pay about $40 a foot. And he said, no. I don't want to pay 40. I said, how about 30? No. It was the cheapest deal I ever made in the history of 40 Wall Street. Is that right? He got it for nothing. He's a very tough negotiator.
So here's a black man negotiated with Trump to get something for nothing, and Trump gave it to him. But Trump's a racist. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that says a lot right there.
You know that, right? He's a terrific guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And the snow came, and I said, gee, nobody's going to show up, and look at this place, it's packed. I do want to say a couple of things. First of all, where's Percy? Oh, okay. I thought you left Percy. That would have been terrible. I get up and you leave. I would have been insulted. But, he's been a special friend of mine for 25 years, for a long time. And Percy was the borough president of Manhattan when I was really starting out, and he helped me so much on the Commodore Hotel, which he mentioned before, which became the Grand Hyatt.
and so many other things. And he is really, and I listened to him speak, and I said to Roger and Roy, listen to those tones, listen to that voice. Have you heard that before, by the way? What a beautiful tone, and what a beautiful man, and we love him. You really were a big help to me right at the beginning, and I really appreciate it, and you've done some great jobs. So I just want to sort of acknowledge you. Now another couple, I'm sitting here with this man, Roy. If you want to borrow money, but with him, you have to pay it back. That's the thing. But if you want to borrow money on Wall Street, you go see Roy, because there's nobody like him at Goldman Sachs. And if you do want to run for president, you see this guy. You're 3-0. And when he left Bush, you know what happened to Bush's last campaign, folks? It wasn't very pretty. And now we have President Clinton, who's coming tonight. And I guess you like President Clinton very much, right, Jesse? Huh? Stand up and say yes, Jesse. Well, I'll just say a few words. I mean, Wall Street and New York City and this whole region is doing unbelievably well. I'm building a job on the west side, which is the largest job ever approved by the New York City Planning Commission. You see it going up along the West Side Highway. It's almost 10 million square feet. It's 18 buildings, and it's really going to be something. We're building a building that you probably heard of recently. It's the tallest residential tower anywhere in the world. It's 90 stories. People aren't happy about the fact that I'm building a 90-story building in New York City, but it's an as-of-right. It's called an as-of-right building, meaning you can do it by zoning, and it's going to be truly magnificent, right directly, of course, from the United Nations. We just bought the General Motors building.
So here's Trump. Like, they tell you all this stuff about him. He's racist. He's a crook. Blah 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 blah. Here's the thing: the guy's a builder. I mean, he has worked and earned his money. I mean, he's not an idiot. Okay, like he's came in here, and you know, he up there in New York. Obviously, he's on Wall Street. He's negotiating these deals. I mean, he's building these multi-million-dollar buildings. I mean, the guy's worked for what he's got. You know, they tell you all this crap in the news is a bunch of lies. I mean, you got to think about how many people it took to build these buildings. I mean, if you think it was all white people that built these buildings, it wasn't white people. He employed black, he employed Spanish. I mean, he employed, I mean, you name it. I mean, there were 49 probably million people over the years. I mean, not 49 million, but you know what I'm saying, that all walks and all different ages, all different races that have worked on these buildings. And you know, they don't give him enough credit.
International Hotel and Tower, which just yesterday got the Mobile 5-star award. Only 4 in the country got it for its whatever it is, and it's been a tremendous success. We're doing a lot of other things, and I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities.
Look at there.
Proud of it. We have.
Look at there. That's what I just said. Large majority of people that he had were black and minorities helping him build these buildings, but yet he's a racist. Okay. I mean, and the man just said, you know, he employs minorities.
And I think the number's going up.
And this is back in 1999. So how could the man be so much different? You know what I'm saying? Between now and then, I couldn't see him changing that much. When this is how he was in his prime, I can't see him being any different.
They do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions, and then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible, but we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
Look at there. What a great guy.
When I started drinking warm water for my blood.
We don't care about what you drink. All right, I think that's enough internet for right now.